Hello, and welcome back to the Desperate for Love podcast. I'm your host, Sophia, and thank you so much for being here. I want to start off by saying the biggest thank you to everybody who listened to the first episode of the Desperate for Love podcast. I received so many kind words. I received so much love and so much support. Welcome back. I had a bunch of people ask me, where's the next episode of the Desperate for Love podcast? I would not be me if I did not fall off the face of the earth while trying to complete a task. I just wouldn't. It would be so unlike me to be consistent. It would be so unlike me to do things well and go strong and never quit. Not my thing. Not my thing. I am so glad that there was this huge gap between the first and the second episode, because this gap is exactly what my life is. No matter what I put my mind to, no matter what I try to do, I always find excuses. I always allow circumstances to defeat me. And this is exactly what happens when I try to eat healthy, when I try to start taking care of myself, when I try to start exercising, when I try doing anything for myself, I fall off. After the first episode, I had several pre-recorded episodes ready to go. And being the perfectionist that I am, of course, did not feel comfortable uploading something that wasn't stellar quality. So I decided to scrap everything. We went on vacation. I was going to bring all of my podcasting gear with me. I'm like, I got to get this done. I showed up. I need to be strong. I need to continue moving forward. I need to show everybody that I'm undefeatable. And then I was like, you know what? I haven't been on vacation in so long. I need a break so badly. Why don't I just take this time to relax, go on my vacation, recharge so that I can come back and I'll just sit down, re-record those episodes that I had planned, and then kind of resume my process. And then we came back from vacation and I went through the biggest existential crisis ever. My entire reality shattered. My entire life lost meaning. This podcast was under a huge question mark. It changed the course of the entire direction. Now that I'm back into my senses after that crisis, I can't re-record those episodes because of what I've now discovered. I cannot pretend like everything is the way it was and just move on with my life and start producing these episodes. 4 weeks ago, I discovered something that changed my perception of life and reality forever. I underwent kind of a spiritual awakening of sorts. It was an event. It was an event that opened up a rabbit hole. And once I went into that rabbit hole and did more research, the podcast was not the only thing that was on pause. My whole entire life is still on pause. I'm afraid to make any unplanned move because I don't want to trigger any negative consequences for myself. Before I share with you the event that flipped my life upside down, I want to start off by taking you through my experience with spirituality. I was born and raised Christian. I was baptized. I had my Holy Communion. When I hit my teenage years, I was being gradually pulled towards spirituality. My journey to spirituality really started with crystals. I remember buying my first ever crystal in grade 12. We were on a science field trip, went to Royal Ontario Museum. I bought my crystal there. It was an amethyst. An amethyst crystal is everybody's first crystal. I bought one. Then I bought a couple more. Till this day, I have acquired a massive massive crystal collection. I learned about crystals, what they actually mean and what they actually do for you. And what I learned was that crystals carry energy and frequency. You have to cleanse them, charge them, set intentions with them, and then they're going to help you by emanating the frequency that you need based on what their properties are. They are going to emanate energy into your life and improve your life. After discovering crystals, I began really acknowledging that there was this space called spirituality. But before crystals, everybody gets introduced into spirituality through astrology. When you're on a dating app, the first question you get asked, how are you? The second question you get asked, what do you do for work? The third question you get asked on a dating app is, what's your zodiac sign? What's your zodiac sign? Growing up in a tiny village in Ukraine, even I knew what the horoscope was. Fast forward to summer 2015, the biggest event, the biggest miraculous experience that I could ever think of took place. Summer 2015, out of nowhere, unplanned, unexpected, I accidentally opened my third eye. It was July 26th. I was out with my girlfriends. We came home to my friend's house. We were sitting in their backyard. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. Out of nowhere, night turned to day. And I don't recall ever seeing night shifting into day like that in front of my eyes. And as night shifted into day, I went like I inhaled in awe at the sight of that change. Moments after that reaction, I see the entire sky covered in triangles, and each triangle is concentric, meaning there's a triangle inside a triangle inside a triangle inside a triangle, and each triangle is the color of the rainbow. It was like a transparent layer on top of what I was seeing. And then shortly after seeing that, I start feeling something. And what I think that feeling was is oneness. I remember feeling like I could feel every tree, every branch, every leaf, every piece of grass, everything. I felt one with the universe. I felt one with nature. And I felt like I knew the meaning and the purpose of life. Like I, in that moment, was like, I know why we're here. I know what our purpose is. I know what this is. I know what all of this means. So imagine I discover crystals. I discover this space of spirituality. Out of nowhere, I open my third eye, not knowing that I opened my third eye, by the way. I didn't actually know that this was my third eye opening until I later learned that people go through extensive preparation to get to that level. People juice and fast and meditate in the sun and say mantras and work with shamans and do all kinds of stuff to get to that state, to experience what I experienced. And it happened to me by complete and utter accident. Couple months after this incident, I started going to yoga. I went to yoga practice and I brought with me a couple crystals. And I remember one time after I finished my yoga practice, I felt a significant weight being lifted off my chest, and I just felt so peaceful. I felt such bliss. I felt so in control and so light and so amazing, and life was wonderful. After opening my third eye And after experiencing this very obvious weight that I observed being taken off my chest, I thought to myself, I understand what this space of spirituality is. So I continued. Now I'm like, okay, religion is not my thing. Christianity, Catholicism, not my thing. Spirituality is the way. When I was single, all my dating apps read that I'm very much spiritual. When I would be talking to people, I'd be like, are you spiritual? Because I'm spiritual. I later started to read books and discovered The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, Joe Dispenza, Louise Hay, The Four Agreements, started reading self-help books, self-development, and all that kind of stuff. Next thing I know, I find myself dabbling in tarot. It was fall 2019. I go through a situationship. I was so heartbroken. I didn't get any closure. It was insane. I fell so hard, so quick. It ended. I lost myself. And because I needed answers, because I needed closure, next thing I know, I'm dabbling in the department of tarot. If you know anything about tarot, you know how freakishly accurate those things are. Those cards, those decks, those spirits that talk to you through those decks, whatever you want to call it. Tarot cards can be so freakishly accurate. Here is how I fell for it. I was subscribed to someone on YouTube who was doing zodiac tarot readings. So it was like, what is the month of July gonna be like for all the different 12 signs of the zodiac? One time, I go through one of those videos in the fall of 2019, and that video says something that hooks my attention, that kind of relates what I'm going through. And I'm like, okay, I want to know more. I want to understand more, and I want to know more. And I came across that on YouTube, there are hundreds and thousands of tarot videos. And I come across this one video and it explained what I was going through. I kept listening and I was finding answers in those tarot readings that helped me deal with and manage that breakup. I thought they were helping me deal with and manage. But looking back now, I realize I was obsessively watching these videos, wasting hours and hours and hours of my life. The amount of tarot videos I've watched, insane. Also, one of my best friends can read tarot, and every time we would hang out, I'd be like, yo, like bring the cards. And she would do like the whole thing for me, like do the whole spread for me. Now that I'm observing the world and life and social media, lots of people are dabbling in it. It seems to be super normal these days. And so over the years, I would follow people on social media, on YouTube, psychics, tarot readers, witches, like all kinds of crazy people, okay? I would see these videos and I would pick a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there, and I would formulate my own beliefs. It made me feel confident and calm and safe within myself. I was like, I'm spiritual. God loves me. I'm a ball of light. I'm going to be a light worker when I grow up. I'm going to be leading women. I'm going to be leading masses. I'm going to be making spiritual music. Like I'm en route to all these great things. Spirituality just saved my life in so many ways. It gave me purpose. It gave me reason to live. I was so excited. I was like, can't wait to see how far I can develop my intuition. I cannot wait to see how much wealth I can manifest and how much abundance I can manifest. And I want to travel the world and I want to connect with nature. I want to go on retreats and I want to organize retreats and I just want to have a community where I have a circle of people where we lift each other up, where we grow and we evolve, and life is all amazing and great. So 4 weeks ago, I'm coming home from work, and a girl that I was following on YouTube, her name is Ella. What's her name? Ella Ringrose? Ella Ringrose. A girl that I knew to be a psychic, a girl that was a channeler, a girl that read tarot and performed activations that helped people. In her video, this girl is sharing her testimony of her quitting spirituality. And I'm like, what in the actual, like, what's going on? I have never in my life heard people leaving spirituality. In fact, I always heard people being like spiritual and whatever religion they grew up in. When me and my boyfriend met, he gave me this book. It's called Angel Numbers by Doreen Virtue. And several months ago at my work, one of my directors at my office comes up to me and says, "Did you know that the woman that wrote that book took back all her words and said that spirituality is demonic, and she took back all her words and she converted to Christianity?" And I'm like, "Sir, why are you coming to me and telling me that?" And I'm like, okay, this guy's weird. I have my little angel book. I love my little angel book. I would literally use it multiple times a day. Anytime I would see a repeated number somewhere, I would always be like, ooh, today I seen the number 4 frequently. Let's read 444 and 444. So that was the first time ever that I heard someone say anything about spirituality being negative or people leaving. Then I see this video from Ella Ringrose. She has shared so much about her ability to talk to spirit and see things that they're showing her. As I was listening to her video, I was shaking my head. I was like, ain't no way in hell. I was like, please, I just don't want this to be true. I don't want this to be true. I love my crystals. I love yoga. I love manifestation. I love all things spirituality. Please, there's no way that this is true. Ella, underneath her video, provided a list of 10 other testimonials of a bunch of other people, all completely different walks of life. The thing that really strikes me is that all of these people had like 6-7 figure businesses built on spirituality. Yoga teachers, mentors, psychics, witches, like whatever these people classify themselves as. They had money, they had success, they were praised, they traveled the world, like they've done it all. And they gave everything they worked for away. They stopped all of it because of what they discovered. I've been processing this for 3 weeks, and there is a lot that adds up and that makes sense. And there is definitely a lot to think about here. What these individuals described was terrifying. For example, 2 individuals I remember specifically because of how psychic and clairvoyant they were. Both of them expressed being possessed. One of them said that there was an angel that appeared to them, and it was the most beautiful angel, and it was so light and so bright, and they felt such immense love emanating from this angel. And then they confronted that spirit, and the second they confronted that spirit turned into a demon, and then they had this whole negative trip and they were freaking out, and it was like a whole thing. Multiple people had this kind of experience. One girl whose testimony I listened to, who was a professional yoga teacher, ended up quitting her career. She said she went to do ayahuasca. After doing ayahuasca, she went to a Reiki master. She says her Reiki was struggling, trying to like shoo something away out of her. And then after the session, the yoga girl asks him, what was that about? What was that? And apparently It was a demon that was like attached to her from doing ayahuasca. Apparently, ayahuasca is super, super, super demonic and super bad. It relates to you in a way that it triggers your fears. Yeah, it does help heal a part of you, or it does help you look through something differently or process something. But at the same time, the cost of that little transformation that you've gone through is that you end up being possessed by this demon, and this demon stays with you, takes something from you. It's not pure. It's not something I would do in a million years. I used to think I wanted to do ayahuasca, but not after what I've discovered. I want to share a couple points from those videos, some common themes that were present. Every single one of those people said that crystals are demonic, tarot are demonic. They said that yoga is no bueno. Let's just put it that way. The first thing that all of them said is that in the Bible, it says that Satan can masquerade as an angel of light, and he does. I thought that was very interesting. If you think about it, if evil was so obvious, people would stir away from it. There is propaganda in everything. And so it makes sense that the devil would try and trick you. Of course, if the devil appears in front of me in his own image and says, yo, let's go jump off the balcony, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm definitely not doing that. But if the devil appears in the form of somebody in my circle who's constantly influencing me to make bad choices or do bad or to do harm, that technically is a dark entity in the form of a friend, in the form of a light, trying to deceive me and influence me to do bad. So I thought it was very interesting that every single one of them mentioned that the devil masquerades as an angel of light. The second thing that they all unanimously said, yoga is a spiritual practice. If you look on the internet and you read all the different definitions of yoga, they will all unanimously say that yoga is a spiritual practice. The word yoga means to yoke, which means to unite. The goal of yoga is to merge yourself with God consciousness. So if yoga is a spiritual practice, and the word yoga means to unite and to merge yourself with a God consciousness, that means that during that practice, you are merging with none other than the deities of Hinduism. You cannot divorce the spiritual aspect of yoga from yoga. You cannot do yoga and say, oh, I'm just doing it for exercise. Whether you like it or not, you are performing a spiritual practice. You can do your own research on it. Listen to videos on YouTube. People explain it very well. These people have done a lot more research than I will ever do in my entire life. So you should take it from them and not me. But I just thought it was very interesting. Every single yoga pose is a symbol. Every single pose you make, it draws a symbol with your body, right? Every single yoga pose is a symbol that is worshiping. It's a symbol that worships and connects you to a specific deity in Hinduism. For example, the tree pose is a pose that bows down and worships the god Vishnu. Vishnu is that blue god who lays on a canopy, has a halo made of serpents, and it's supposed to be an infinite halo of serpents. The canopy is supposed to be like a canopy of infinite serpents. When I look at the image of this deity, I don't like that his canopy is serpents, because what do you call somebody who deceives you? A snake. Who deceived Eve from the Adam and Eve story? a snake, a serpent. Just to me, snake is not a very good symbol. Another one is the warrior pose in yoga. The warrior pose worships a deity called Virabhadra. I'm sure you've heard of deity or god Shiva. Shiva's wife got killed by her father, and Shiva took a flock of his hair, threw the flock of hair to the ground, and out of that flock of hair, he created a killing machine. That killing machine is called Virabhadra. When you do warrior 1, 2, and 3, you are bowing to a literal monster that was literally created for the purpose of murder, to kill. And so when you wake up every single morning and you do yoga, you may be thinking that you're doing good for your body, you're stretching, you're exercising, but you could also very well be devoting your days and your soul and your energy to these gods who are going to enter your day because you welcomed them. They're going to enter your day, they're going to influence your day. And whatever you put your attention to, your energy flows there. And so you're just draining your energy, devoting yourself to deities who are not the God that created you, right? The scariest of the yoga examples was learning about Kundalini yoga. Apparently, Kundalini yoga is like the worst, most demonic form of yoga that you could ever practice. It awakens the Kundalini spirit at the bottom of your spine. And if you look up the Kundalini spirit, if you look up Kundalini energy, it is drawn in the form of none other than a serpent. It's a serpent energy. When you look up Kundalini, it will show you your back, it will show you the chakras throughout your back, and it will show you a serpent twirling around your spine. I don't know what it is, but after hearing these testimonials and doing a little bit of my own research, I don't like snakes. I don't do well with snakes. And there's just too many snake symbols in here for me that I personally will be staying away from yoga. I'd rather take my chances and never do yoga again in my life than do yoga and devote my energy in my life to Hindu gods that didn't create me. When we practice all of these spiritual rituals, we are really impacting and changing our lives in ways that we probably never even imagined. When I was dating and out on the dating apps, if I was talking to multiple people, I would narrow it down to one, and sometimes that decision literally involved some sort of spiritual tool that I used to get myself to understand which direction I should go to. I put way too much faith into the concept of spirituality to lead my life. I used spirituality as an excuse to explain why I wanted to leave a relationship, or why I wanted to start a relationship, or why I wanted to do X, Y, and Z. I think that I lost myself a little bit while being in this space of spirituality. One thing that all of these testimonials mentioned is that spirituality is like a hamster wheel. You never feel satisfied. You start doing yoga, then you want to meditate, then you want to reach your highest consciousness, then you want to use crystals, then you want to balance your chakras, then you want to go to a Reiki master, then you want to do mushrooms, then you want to do ayahuasca, then you want to do some moon ritual, then you want to do a sun ritual, then you want to fast, then you want to lay naked under the sun, then you want to do womb healing, then you want to do inner child work, then you want to do shadow work. Like, it never ends. You always have to keep working on yourself, keep evolving. Past life regression, hypnosis, Akashic records, like all of these things that I used to think were tools that exist to help us understand ourselves and to help us discover ourselves might actually be that devil disguised as light, falsifying the direction in which we should go. I highly encourage we all do our own research. I had to share this with you because a big part of this podcast was supposed to be about spirituality. This whole episode is part of the reason why I have been kind of MIA. My entire reality literally shattered. Like, I had all these plans, I had all these hopes, I was looking forward to so much, and I was putting so much stake on spirituality. Like, I was like, I'm going to achieve the greatest everything in this life, and I'm going to do that through spirituality. I'm going to do that because I'm going to meditate every day. I'm going to do that because I'm going to do yoga, and I'm going to be super balanced and at peace. I'm going to achieve all those things because I'm going to have all these practices and morning rituals and night rituals. And then imagine one day all of that shatters, and I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do? I literally felt like I'm never gonna achieve anything. I felt like life is over. Everything is fake. Everything I thought I knew is fake. I'm never gonna be successful now. If this is all fake, if this is all demonic, I don't wanna practice it. If I'm not gonna practice it, that means I'm never gonna achieve success. Like, I just lost it. I genuinely lost it. I put so much hope onto that concept. I thought it was going to shape me. I thought it was going to help solve all my problems. I thought it was going to help me build my businesses and get out of this rat race and this matrix. And it all shattered. I was freaking out. It changed everything for me. The truth is, I'm going to continue doing my research because I really want to like truly understand and truly separate what is safe, what is okay, what is going to help me, and what should I cut out? What should I avoid? Which direction should I turn away from? I will keep you posted on what I discover. As soon as I have everything organized and clarified, I will be back to report. It's very important what we believe in because, like I told you earlier, when I was going through that breakup, that painful breakup, I was turning to tarot. The tarot told me that this person was going to come around and that they were going to come back and that they're always thinking about me. And I lived for a year and a half in an illusion, hoping, praying, patiently waiting for this person to re-enter my life, to apologize, to resume where we left off. And in the end, none of that happened. I only wasted energy, time, and I was focusing on the wrong thing. And the same thing in dating. Like, I kid you not, if there were multiple guys in my space that I saw that they're interested in me, instead of asking those people directly to their face, hey, what do you think of me? What are your goals? What are you looking for? Are you looking for a relationship? What's going on? I would turn to tarot to tell me what these people's intentions are, what their capabilities are, what can they offer me. And I kid you not, I based my decisions of who I would date and who I wouldn't, and who I would drop and who I wouldn't, based on these tarot readings. What I learned from these testimonials is that spirit and tarot and all these other tools, they can tell you about your past, but only God knows your future. So any tarot or psychic, if anybody tries to tell you your future, there is just no chance, because the only power that can predict your future, that knows your future, is God himself. Since the Desperate for Love podcast is no longer about spirituality, I have decided that we are going to ground ourselves a little bit, okay? We are going to be more rational. We're going to chill out on the spirituality. We're going to chill out on the magic. We're going to chill out on the manifestation for a second. And we are going to just try. We're just going to try to roll up our sleeves, use our brain that was given to us by God, the creator himself. And we are going to just use what we have, use our 5% brain capacity to look at our life from the exact lens that we use to perceive this world day to day. Do you guys think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm like losing my mind? I want to work on my relationship with God. God the creator. Don't say universe. Don't say source. When you're talking to God or when you're speaking to God, specify that you're talking to the God that created you, the power that created you. Don't forget to set that intention, because I think that it's important to be specific who you're praying to. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Share this with everybody who knows me. Tell them, did you know Sophia has a podcast? See you in my next episode. Bye.